There's something powerful about success, not just the kind that brings money or fame, but the kind that brings truth. Because when you finally start winning, the masks around you begin to fall. The same people who once called you family suddenly grow silent. The ones who said, "I've got your back," disappear the moment you rise. And that's when you learn your success doesn't just change your life, it exposes who was never truly with you. Just because you lost me as a friend doesn't mean you gained me as an enemy. I'm bigger than that. I still want to see you eat, just not at my table. There's a certain kind of peace that comes when you stop forcing people to value you. This quote isn't about arrogance. It's about self-respect. It's about understanding that forgiveness doesn't always mean reconciliation. You can wish someone well, you can hope they succeed, and still protect your space from their energy. When you start growing emotionally, mentally, or even financially, something interesting happens. The people you thought would be proud of you suddenly grow quiet. They stop clapping. Some start criticizing. Others disappear altogether. And you begin to see it. They were never really with you. They were only comfortable when you were small, when you were struggling, when you needed them. Your success, your peace, your light. It exposed their insecurity. This is what that quote truly means. When you lose someone as a friend, it doesn't always mean war. It just means you've outgrown the version of yourself that allowed certain people to sit at your table. People who didn't bring anything to it but noise, envy, or judgment. Growth doesn't need revenge. It doesn't need validation. It just needs peace. Think about it. When you're loyal, when you love hard, when you give endlessly, it hurts to realize that someone only stood next to you for what you could offer, not for who you truly are. Tupac experienced this throughout his life. When fame found him, so did fake love. People who once ignored him suddenly called him family. But the same people who celebrated his rise were the ones who whispered behind his back, plotted against him, and doubted him when he needed them the most. Instead of becoming bitter, he grew wiser. He stopped trying to prove himself to those who couldn't see his heart. He understood that some relationships are seasonal, meant to teach, not to stay. That's where real power comes from, not in fighting back, not in exposing people, but in quietly moving forward without them. For today's generation, this message is crucial. In the world of social media, everyone wants to look loyal, but very few actually are. Many people want to ride with you until the road gets bumpy or until your success outshines theirs. The moment you start evolving, your silence, your distance, your peace will threaten those who still live in chaos. They'll call you changed, when in reality, you just stop tolerating disrespect. So what should you do? Be bigger. Don't waste energy proving your loyalty to the disloyal. Don't beg to be understood by those who only listen to respond. Don't chase friendships that have already shown you their expiration date. Keep your circle small, your intentions pure, and your energy sacred. Wishing someone well doesn't mean they belong in your life. You can forgive and move on. You can pray for their happiness while protecting your own. That's maturity. That's peace. The real flex isn't showing the world that you're unbothered. It's actually being unbothered. In love, in friendship, in success. Remember this, losing fake friends is never a loss. It's protection. Every person who walks away makes room for someone genuine. And one day you'll look back and realize why certain people had to leave. Because your table was never meant for everyone. It was meant for those who celebrate you, not those who secretly compete with you. So keep your peace sacred. Don't let betrayal turn you bitter. Let it turn you wiser. Smile, stay focused, and keep building your empire quietly. Because one day, the same people who doubted you will have to watch you from a distance, still wishing you well, but no longer at your table. You can spend minutes, hours, days, weeks, or even months overanalyzing a situation, trying to put the pieces together, justifying what could have, would have, or should have happened, or you can just leave the pieces on the floor and move on. This line cuts deep because it reflects one of the hardest lessons in life, learning to let go. Sometimes the pain of losing someone isn't what destroys us. It's the constant replaying of what went wrong. We sit in the ruins of broken trust and try to rebuild something that was never meant to last. We replay conversations, analyze actions, and ask ourselves endless whys, thinking maybe, just maybe, there's something we could have done differently. But that's where we lose ourselves. in the cycle of trying to fix what's already fallen apart. This quote is not about being cold or emotionless. It's about self-preservation. It's about choosing peace over pain, clarity over confusion, and acceptance over obsession. The truth is, not everything deserves closure. Sometimes the silence is your closure. Sometimes not knowing why is the answer you needed, because knowing might only break you more. Think about how this mirrors real life. There are people who will leave without explanation. Friends who stop calling. Lovers who walk away when you need them most. Opportunities that vanish just when you were starting to believe. It hurts deeply. But the longer you sit there trying to understand their actions, the more you drain your spirit. Healing doesn't come from figuring out them. It comes from understanding you. Tupac lived this lesson. Throughout his life, he faced betrayals that cut close, friends turning on him, people using his name, twisting his words, and misjudging his heart. For a while, he carried that pain everywhere he went. He questioned loyalty, love, and even himself. But eventually, he learned that some people leave not because you're wrong, but because they can't handle your truth. That's when he stopped chasing closure and started focusing on purpose. And that's what this generation needs to hear. You don't need to fix every broken bond. You don't need to prove your worth to those who walked away. Every time you revisit the past, you open a wound that was already healing. Sometimes the best way to heal is to stop touching what hurt you. Let it rest. Let it go. Moving on doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering without pain. It means taking the lesson, not the burden. Maybe someone ghosted you. Maybe a friend betrayed you. Maybe a relationship ended suddenly. You can spend years wondering why they did it, or you can spend that same time rebuilding your strength, your peace, your focus. Time doesn't heal wounds, perspective does. So here's the truth. You owe yourself the freedom to walk away. You owe yourself a future that isn't chained to the past. The people who left already took enough from you. Don't let them take your peace too. Instead of asking, why did they hurt me? Start asking, what is this teaching me? That's where growth begins. That's where emotional maturity takes root. When you stop fighting for what left you and start fighting for what's ahead of you. If something fell apart, it's because it wasn't meant to hold you forever. If someone walked away, it's because their role in your story ended. The longer you try to rewrite a closed chapter, the longer you delay the new one that's waiting to begin. So, leave the pieces on the floor. Don't bleed trying to fix what cut you. Sometimes, peace doesn't come from answers. It comes from acceptance. And one day, when you finally look back, you'll realize you didn't lose anything worth keeping. You only lost what was holding you back from becoming who you were meant to be. Would you like me to expand the third keynote? Next, as pay no mind to those who talk behind your back. It means you're 2 steps ahead. Pay no mind to those who talk behind your back. It means you're 2 steps ahead. There's something powerful about silence when you're winning. Because the moment your energy starts to rise, the whispers start too. People begin to talk not because you've done something wrong, but because your light is shining in places they can't reach anymore. And that's what this quote teaches, that the noise behind you is proof you're moving forward. The ones talking aren't leading, they're following from behind, jealous of the pace you've set. Let's break this down simply. In life, you'll notice that people rarely talk about those doing less than them. They gossip about those doing more. The higher you climb, the louder the echo of envy becomes. Some will say you've changed when, in truth, you've only grown. Some will call you arrogant when all you've done is set boundaries. Some will distance themselves, not because you pushed them away, because your growth reminded them of their stagnation. Tupac experienced this in ways most of us can't imagine. When he was struggling, few cared. But when his name began to rise, when his voice began to matter, suddenly everyone had an opinion. He was misunderstood, misquoted, and misjudged, not because he was wrong, but because he was real. And the truth is, people are uncomfortable with realness. They fear what exposes their own insecurities. That's the hidden beauty in hate. It shows you who's threatened by your light. You see, when people talk behind your back, it's never really about you. It's about them, their jealousy, their fear, their lack of purpose. They need something to focus on, and your success becomes their distraction. But while they're wasting energy on gossip, you're using yours to grow. And that's the real difference. Talkers discuss people, while doers build futures. For today's generation, This quote hits even harder. We live in a time where everyone's watching everyone, scrolling, comparing, judging. You post your wins, they roll their eyes. You fall silent, they start rumors. But listen carefully. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your path. The less you explain, the more they'll assume. And the more they assume, the more power you hold. Let them talk. Because while they're stuck analyzing your past, you're busy creating your future. Think of this practically. When you stop responding to negativity, you shift the power dynamic. You show maturity. You show discipline. You show that peace matters more than pride. Every time you react to hate, you pause your progress. Every time you ignore it, you multiply your strength. The most dangerous person in a room isn't the loudest. It's the one who moves in silence, focused, unfazed, and untouchable. This isn't about arrogance. It's about self-awareness. You must learn to distinguish between feedback and noise. Feedback helps you grow. Noise distracts you from growth. The more you evolve, the fewer people will truly understand you. And that's okay. Growth naturally creates distance. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into your next chapter. So the next time someone talks behind your back, smile. They're behind you for a reason. You've already passed the stage they're still stuck in. Their opinions are echoes from places you no longer live. Your focus is your weapon, and your silence is your revenge. Remember, nobody throws stones at trees without fruit. If they're talking, it means you've got something valuable: vision, strength, resilience, or purpose. Protect it. Don't lower your energy to match their noise. Rise so high that their words can't reach you. In the end, success will silence them far better than words ever could. Your progress will do the talking, and the same people who once whispered your name in hate will one day say it in admiration. But by then, you'll be too far ahead to hear them. The realest people don't have a lot of friends, because truth scares away pretenders. Have you ever noticed that the more real and focused you become, the smaller your circle gets? It's not a coincidence. The deeper your purpose grows, the quieter your surroundings become, because authenticity, real truth, real loyalty, real energy doesn't attract the crowd, it exposes it. When you decide to live with integrity and chase success built on honesty and self-respect, you'll begin to notice who was never really with you. This truth is something that the streets, the struggle, and the climb to greatness always reveal. See, when you're lost, when you're trying to find your way, everyone acts like they've got your back. But once you start to move differently, once your mindset begins to evolve, people who were comfortable seeing you broken suddenly become uncomfortable watching you rise. That's because your growth forces them to face their own stagnation. Think about it. When you start cutting distractions, focusing on your vision, and taking responsibility for your own life, you stop feeding the drama that used to connect you to certain people. You stop being the entertainment in their story, and that's when you start seeing their true colors. Some will fade away quietly, others will turn cold, and a few will start to compete with you in silence. But none of that is a loss. It's clarity, a gift that success gives you, even when it feels painful. That's exactly what happened to the man behind these words. He rose from poverty, betrayal, and false love, surrounded by people who claim loyalty, until his light began to outshine theirs. At first, he tried to bring everyone with him. He wanted to share his blessings, his dreams, his stage. But fame didn't just elevate him, it magnified the envy around him. The same people who once cheered for him began to whisper against him. The same ones who smiled in public started to scheme in private. That realization broke his heart, but it also gave him wisdom. That not everyone who walks with you is meant to reach your destination. It's a lesson that applies to all of us. Success, in any form, emotional, spiritual, or financial, will always reveal what words can't. When you start respecting yourself more, you'll see who only liked you when you didn't. When you start setting boundaries, you'll realize who was only loyal to their comfort, not to your growth. And when you start achieving your goals, you'll witness who celebrates you sincerely and who pretends to clap while hoping you fall. But here's the beautiful twist. You don't need to expose them. Life will do it for you. Your consistency, your discipline, your peace, they make the noise that truth needs. Every time you choose focus over gossip, every time you choose peace over revenge, you separate yourself from the fake. That's what makes your success dangerous to those who never believed you'd get there. So if you're losing people on your journey, don't question it. Appreciate it. Every goodbye is guidance. Every betrayal is protection. Every fake friend removed is space created for someone real. Keep your energy sacred, your circle small, and your faith strong. Because when you're real, when you're grounded in truth, you'll never have a crowd. You'll have a core, and that's all you need. Your success will not only expose who was never with you, it will also confirm who's meant to walk beside you when the spotlight fades and the silence speaks louder than applause. I'm not saying I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. There's something powerful about that statement. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. It's a voice that knows its purpose even when the world doesn't. It's a reminder that real success isn't always about becoming the biggest, the richest, or the most famous. Sometimes it's about being the spark that lights someone else's fire. See, in life, most people measure success by recognition. They want validation, applause, acknowledgement. But the truth is, purpose runs much deeper than popularity. The ones who make the greatest impact often do so quietly through their energy, their message, and their resilience. You don't have to be known by everyone to be felt by someone. And that's what this quote captures. The humility of a person who knew that his words, his pain, his journey might outlive him and continue inspiring generations to come. He came from struggle, no money, no safety net, no privilege. Just raw talent, deep emotion, and an unshakable belief that his existence meant something. He didn't wait for perfect conditions to start expressing his truth. He spoke even when he wasn't heard. He created even when he wasn't supported. And he loved his people even when the world misunderstood him. That's what made his legacy immortal. Not perfection, but purpose. Think about it. How many times have you stopped yourself from trying something because you thought, who am I to make a difference? How many dreams have died because people convinced themselves that one person can't change anything? But that's the lie comfort tells us, that our impact only matters if it's big enough for the world to see. In reality, one kind word, one piece of art, one moment of courage can change a person's entire life, and that person might go on to change the world. The man behind this quote lived that truth. He used his pain as fuel, his voice as a weapon, and his platform as a mirror reflecting both beauty and brokenness. Every verse, every interview, every act of rebellion came from the same place. Love for humanity and the desire to awaken others. He didn't see himself as a savior, just a spark. But that spark became a flame that still burns decades later. That's real success, legacy that lives beyond the flesh. For today's generation, this quote carries an even deeper meaning. In a world obsessed with likes, followers, and overnight fame, it reminds us that real influence isn't measured by numbers, it's measured by impact. Maybe your story won't reach millions, but if it heals one person, if it inspires one dream, if it helps someone see their worth, you've already succeeded. So stop waiting to be recognized before you start moving. Stop underestimating your small beginnings. Every ripple starts with a drop. Every revolution starts with a voice that refuses to stay silent. You might not see the full effect of your actions today, but every effort done in love and truth plants a seed that will grow when it's meant to. That's what this quote teaches. You don't have to change the entire world. You just have to ignite the right mind, touch the right heart, or inspire the right soul. Because sometimes the difference between darkness and light is a single spark, and that spark could be you. So stay real, stay brave. Keep creating, loving, and believing. Your success isn't defined by how far you go, but by how many souls you awaken on your way there. Conclusion, at the end of the day, your success will do more than elevate you. It will reveal the truth about everyone around you. It will separate the ones who clapped for you from the ones who only clapped for your struggle. It will show who believed in your potential and who was secretly hoping you'd fail. But here's the real lesson. Don't waste your energy trying to prove anything to them. You don't owe explanations, revenge, or validation. You owe yourself peace, growth, and the freedom to keep evolving. The people who left you when you were at your lowest did you a silent favor. They made space for those who can meet you at your best. When you rise, rise with grace. Let your silence be louder than your pain, and your success be your only response. Because nothing exposes fake loyalty faster than real elevation. You've got to remember, not everyone deserves to go where you're going. Some people were only part of your journey to teach you lessons about self-worth, boundaries, and faith. Once you understand that, you stop chasing closure and start building empires out of heartbreak. So don't dim your light just because others couldn't handle its brightness. Don't hold back your potential to protect their comfort. The universe didn't give you dreams to keep them small. It gave you purpose so you could outgrow the limits people placed on you. When your success starts revealing who was never truly with you, don't get bitter, get better. Let their absence remind you that real strength doesn't come from who stands beside you, but from who you become when you stand alone. Because one day, they'll look at your peace, your glow, your growth, and realize they lost someone they'll never find again. But by then, you'll be too busy living the life they never believed you could have.